Hello everyone, today I am here with you to bring you a new style of video, completely different from any of the Pokemon Unite content I've been doing, and I'm calling it the Pokemon Master Shiny Hunt Challenge. Now for those of you unaware, shiny Pokemon are rare variants of Pokemon that are differently colored than Pokemon of the same species. The base odds of encountering a shiny Pokemon in this series is 1 in 4,096, which is rather difficult to do. However, there are many methods and techniques that are developed across these different games to make it easier and more accessible for players to encounter shiny Pokemon. As you'll see, a number of these tactics make it extremely easy to find shiny Pokemon for everyone, and by exploring them myself, I hope to introduce you to them, as well as show you my own personal experience going from game to game in chronological order. Now, this challenge will consist of two parts. The first part, where we catch a full team of 6 shiny Pokemon across all of the Nintendo Switch games. Now, this is also because the first complication that was brought to me was how exactly am I going to do this challenge. The format is I will go across the actual titles of the game in which I can catch shiny Pokemon and bring them into Pokemon Home. That includes Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield DLC, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet. Now, you might be like, well, why is Sword and Shield DLC in there? That's because to make a team of 6, I need to add another variation to this kind of pool of 5 games, and I thought the Sword and Shield DLC would work perfectly. And with the Scarlet and Violet DLC coming out in the near future, that would also work, but since it's not out yet, I decided to use this. Now, in order to do this challenge, I also had to determine what sort of shiny Pokemon am I getting. Is it just any shiny Pokemon? There's a number of different methods, and this would take a good amount of time either way, but I decided I wanted to, slim down the amount of Pokemon, and I did a roulette on a wheel in order to determine a specific color of shiny Pokemon, which I will be showing to you right now. Imagine we get pink for the channel, or blue. Well, we got exactly in between. As you can see, the color that we ended up getting was purple, and I think that's a good color. However, purple's kind of difficult. There are a lot of Pokemon that are magenta. They're like between pink and purple, and so I decided I'm going to be pretty loose with the sort of color thing. As long as I can get something that is around a purple color, or a shade of purple, then I'll count it. Because overall, the challenge is more about having to go through and use the different methods of shiny hunting in each of the games, and so I believe that we did a pretty good job with this. Now, the next question you might be asking is, how is this challenge going to work? I think the first parameter I kind of set for myself is I'm going to go across the games in consecutive order. Some games are way more easier than other games. Scarlet and Violet is super easy. I could probably get the first, the shiny encounter in that game in about 30 minutes. And about the first, 30 minutes I do the sandwich. In games like Sword and Shield, on the other hand, those can take forever. I feel like doing it in chronological order makes the challenge a little bit more satisfying, as you can see me getting them in chronological order. Do you approve the challenge? Good. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Now, the second part of the challenge, how the challenge is going to work, is that once we have all 6 of the Pokemon, we're going to transfer them into Pokemon Home, because they can all be brought there, and form a team. Next, we will do a roulette once the team is formed that will choose the specific challenge we're going to do. The challenge will be across all of the games, and I will do the roulette twice to get 2 games, and out of those 2 games, whichever game has the most Pokemon that I can be brought into it, because certain Pokemon can't be brought into all the games, that will be the game that we do the challenge in. The challenge can be a number of things, such as in Scarlet and Violet being the Pokemon, I don't even know what it's called, I don't think anyone does, the school challenge thing that you do with all of the stronger trainers that you can do multiple times. That could be done in Scarlet and Violet. It's a pretty good challenge. Have little Pokemon such and such. Another challenge that can be done is Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee rematching the Elite Four, which I think you can do, or rematching a gym leader in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which you can also do. Now, without further ado, let's get into the challenge because this is going to be a lot of fun and I hope you guys enjoy. In Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, there are 3 methods/items to improve your shiny chances. The first is with lures. Activating a lure improves your shiny chances by 1 roll, which is very helpful in slimming down those odds. The second item is the shiny charm. Now, one difficulty I ran into was I hadn't been on this game in 2 years and realized I hadn't collected the shiny charm despite meeting all of the prerequisites to getting it. The third method is doing the catch combo, which improves your shiny chances the further you get into the catch combo, which I will explain in more detail as we do it. But in this clip, I am simply going into the building location to get the shiny charm that I just never got despite completing the Pokédex and having that requirement fulfilled 2 years ago. This is quite interesting, and by interesting I mean dumb of me, because I had caught 2 shiny Pokemon using the chain catching technique, a Rhydon and a Magikarp, back whenever I played this game for fun. At the time, I was quite new to shiny hunting, and so that kind of explains it. And while I still am actually pretty new to it, I think the most I've done is Scarlet and Violet because of how simplified the technique became in that game. Returning to this game definitely was eye-opening because it was much more difficult than I first thought it would be. So as you can see here, I'm getting my diploma for completing the Pokédex even though I had already done that. And I got the shiny charm from the director, which we love to see. Now, before I got into this challenge, I did some research in each game as to what purple shiny Pokemon existed and which ones I want to hunt. For Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I wrote down Ghastly, Slowbro, Wigglytuff, and Lapras. However, immediately 2 of these stuck out to me, both Lapras and Slowbro. Both are very iconic Pokemon in the franchise, and while Lapras is very difficult, they are also both in the same area together, so I thought, why not hunt both of them? Lapras is a rare encounter in routes 19 and 20, which is an extremely rare encounter to find, as I very quickly found out, and actually the best way to hunt Lapras is to get a chain catch encounter going, because rare encounters spawn more often once you get that going. And so I went into Seafoam Islands here, where Slowbro is found, in order to get the catch combo with Slowbro in order to find more Laprases. Discovered this method from Jono Plays, so credits to him for showing me that once you get a catch combo going, you can go to the top part of Route 20, up here where I am with my Gyarados, to actually find Lapras and make sure they don't run away quick enough. However, Lapras is very difficult even then because you can't get a catch combo with it easily, and so you're just going to have to rely on your shiny charm and your max lure odds.
Huh?
Remember when I mentioned that it had been over 2 years since I had last played this game? Well, this is kind of where the first hurdle I ran into it, and it's not the fact that my Slowpoke that I caught is evolving, but about 30 minutes in, when I only had about like an 18 or almost 20 chain combo, I kind of forgot that saving the game doesn't exactly save your combo, meaning if you have an 18 combo, say you save and then you fail to catch a Pokemon and it runs away, that doesn't mean I can just simply leave the game, exit it, go back on, and I'll still have the 18 combo. No, the combo goes away. The only really upside to saving is to keep your materials and restart the combo from having all your Pokeballs that you used previously not be used up. However, I didn't know this, and so I ran into a lot of difficulty because I was really rusty and failed a bunch of combos, like now. And as you'll see here, I try to exit the game because I think it's going to save me time and get me back to a 10 combo about there, but instead, I quickly realized that's not the case. Okay, and now while my suffering continues, I bring you the more specific shiny odds and the rundown of kind of the chances and shiny rate that I get as I go through the game. So as you'll see here, on the very top left, a lure active and shiny charm gives you 1 extra roll and 2 extra rolls respectively, and as you go through the catch combo, your shiny rate also improves. A combo from 1 to 11 improves your rates to up to 1 in 1,000, 11 to 20 improves your rates to 1 in 500, 20 to 21 to 30 improves your rates from 1 to 372, and then 31 plus gives you that 1 and 273 chance. Now, a bit of a shout out to this user, Real Super Attacker, on Reddit, basically explaining it in a bit of an easier way, so if you want to pause and read that, it's here. But the new findings basically show that after you catch your 31st Pokemon in the combo, it's only the next Pokemon that gets those 1 in 270 something chances of being shiny, and so you actually have to continue your combo past 31 in order to keep getting the odds for the next Pokemon, meaning I have to continually catch the next Pokemon. After suffering for a little over an hour, I realized one of two things. The first was that the area I was catching Slowpoke in was a little bit higher level since it was further down in the cave. The second was that I could use raspberries to improve my chances to catch the Slowpoke because it was pretty difficult as it was. However, this is where I ran into another problem. After not playing the game for over 2 years, I hadn't, stored up sufficient supplies, and so my only real way to counteract that was to take a little bit of a side quest and go and collect loot in Cerulean Cave in order to sell it and make more money to get both more Ultra Balls, more max lures, and more berries. These together would be very important for me to actually keep a combo alive, as I had failed over 3 times, getting close to 31 each time. And finally, after 2 nights of failed attempts and unable to get a catch combo close to what I needed it to be at, I had finally gotten one actually over 100. This meant that it was only a matter of time until I found the shiny Slowpoke. However, I was very nervous that at any point in the run I could fail this combo, which would result in me having to start from square one all over again. During this time, I both looked for Slowpokes as well as went out and checked if any Lapras would spawn. However, at this point in the recording, it seems Slowpoke was much more realistic, as it had both the odds from the combo as well as the odds from the charm and the lures. And also this happened. Stop running. Stop running. Oh, frick. And finally, after we had gotten into the 120s, this happened. Shiny Slowpoke. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's been so long. The 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Alright, I'm out of here. Honestly, I couldn't care less anymore about this. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. So we could go for the Lapras for a bit. This, in fact, was a terrible idea. And, of course, I did it For about 2 hours, I wasted my time looking through Lapras to Lapras, only to find nothing. To past me, I only have one thing to say.
You're a donut! You're so stupid! You're so stupid! You're stupid! Dumb!
After aimlessly walking around trying to find another shiny Pokemon, I quickly evolved our Slowpoke into Slowbro so that he was actually a purple shiny. And because he was a small purple shiny, I named him after a snail because of his little shell. Trust me, it made sense at the time. And so we called our rather slow buddy here Turbo. After that, we placed our Slowbro in home, and with that, the first part of the challenge was complete. Oh goodness, there's a whole nother 3 parts to this. Right after hopping on Sword and Shield, the first thing I did was give my Trevenant the Harvest ability. This is because I already had chosen the shiny Pokemon I wanted to catch in this game, Bounsweet. Sword and Shield was by far the most difficult, as you have to fight over 500 of the same Pokemon in order to just improve your odds in 1 in 512 with the shiny charm. However, after recent findings, this is only true for very specific Pokemon, the ones that glow like this and are called brilliant Pokemon. Therefore, a lot of the hunting I'm going to be doing in this video is just going to be simply based off of pure luck and hope that we can get it as quickly as possible, as our odds will be pretty low the entire time. Because I was also aiming to do the DLC, I had chosen another Pokemon specifically that came out in the Isle of Armor, Kingdra, to be giving eggs using the Masuda method, in which I paired a Japanese Ditto with a Kingdra from my own game, which means that each of my eggs would have a 1 in 512 chance of bringing me a shiny Horsey. This was when the difficulty of the challenge really started to hit me. I mean, it was so difficult, and I never knew when I would get a Bounsweet. In fact, just defeating the 500 Bounsweet itself was so time-consuming and taxing that I didn't even think that I would get one after that. Some of this hunting was also recorded over at my Twitch at twitch.tv/SykesEnd, so be sure to join me there if you want to catch more of this stuff whenever we do the second part of the challenge. And if you want, you can now guess which shiny I got first out of the 2, because I was doing them consecutively, and here it is. Finally! After, like, I can't even, it's so hard to even explain how many encounters it's been. It's been like definitely over 1,000. There it was. Arceus had finally brought me some mercy, as a random Bounsweet that wasn't even brilliant saved this run. Oh, that is ridiculous. So we have Turbo and Iris. Let's add Iris to the party. Yeah, that was a mistake. Oh man, Sword and Shield is... Wait, did... No, let me go! I almost killed her! After it took so long to find Bounsweet, I was almost tempted to go back on my word and not hunt a second Pokemon in Sword and Shield. However, I couldn't give in. I had to do it for the content, and so I took a bunch of eggs, went over to the Isle of Armor, and ran in circles like no other. Right into your mind. Deja vu, I've just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. Going new, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Whoa, deja vu, I've just been this time before. Higher on the beat, and I know it's a place to go. Going new, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Yeah. This is taking so long, man. We've done it! After that, I quickly evolved our Horsey into a Seadra because he wasn't as purple as he could have been, and I still didn't think he was as purple as he could have been. And so I did a little bit of research and figured out how to get an extra dragon scale, which I put a couple dragon fangs in here in this Cramorant machine and got the dragon scale for him. After that, I quickly put it on him. A quick trade in which I traded my majestically named Seadra Pegasus in order to get the Kingdra, which is mighty purple. After this, I went over to Pokemon Home, deposited both Iris and Pegasus into the box with our Slowbro Turbo, and after being chased by Sharpedo, Sneasel, the whole lot, we can finally bid Galar adieu. That's French, isn't it? Wait, where are we? I don't remember anything about Brilliant Diamond. The Pokemon League? This is the Pokemon League, right? Yes, past me, this was, in fact, the Pokemon League. Not only had I not completed the entirety of Brilliant Diamond, but I also naively thought that I could take on the Pokemon League straight after booting up the game. It's pretty decent, but it's not. He has Ice Fang too. Why does he have Ice Fang? Makes no sense. Yeah, as you can see, I think we're done, right, Leo? And just like that, the old lady who uses ground-type Pokemon was the one who put me 6 feet under. I then figured out a shortcut that I could use Pokemon Home and bring Sinnoh Pokemon into my game to complete the regional decks. That way, instead of completing the Pokemon League, in order to get our mystery gadget that will help us shiny hunt in this game. After completing the regional decks, I quickly hopped and took a flight on over to Sanjin Town, where I can talk to Professor Rowan, who congratulated me on completing the Pokedex even though I cheated, and we also had a small conversation with Oak before he finally gave me the gadget, the Poké-Radar. For those of you unaware, the Poké-Radar shiny hunting method appeared in the original Diamond and Pearl as well as Platinum games. The Poké-Radar works in conjunction with a Poketch app given to you by Professor Oak to basically show you these moving patches of grass in which you chain catch a specific Pokemon of your liking. However, you have to make sure that the patch of grass that you walk into is 4 steps away, and you also catch the Pokemon in order to increase your odds of continuing the streak. The downside to this method is that even if you do everything perfectly, there is still a 7% chance the streak fails and you go back to square one. This is also why I keep resetting the Poké-Radar to make sure that the patch of grass that's shaking is 4 steps away. And it became clear that the odds were not in my favor this time, as I kept getting streaks up to 20 and then shortly failing after that. I at first ran into the problem of picking a Sinnoh Pokemon, as many of the purple shinies in Sinnoh weren't easy to obtain. However, that's when Eterna Forest came to my rescue. At night, Eterna Forest allows me to catch 3 shiny purple Pokemon, Badoo, Wurmple, and Murkrow. It is also the ideal size to get patches of grass 4 blocks away, and is used in most people's showcase of this method because it's kind of perfect for that. And after multiple attempts at getting longer streaks, I had finally been able to achieve one above the 30s and get very, very close until my greed got the best of me and this happened. And right at 39, just before the finish line, my streak had failed me, and the 7% ended up stabbing me right in the back. But I continued on and tried for that shiny Murkrow.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
I have tears. I have actual tears right now. I can't believe it. Oh my god. It's been such a long time. This one was supposed to be one of the easiest. And it ended up being, like, the hardest. Okay, now I just need to save. I then nicknamed our shiny Murkrow Birdly Jr. after the Honchkrow in this game and in honor of Toby Fox. And at this point, I know you all might be wondering, is this little bird actually purple? And to that, I just went with what the internet says, and the internet's always right, so I can sleep with that. After placing Birdly Jr. into Pokemon Home, we said farewell to Sinnoh, but not for long, as we were about to explore this region's ancient past and catch more shiny Pokemon there. Legends Arceus has to be one of my favorite games in the entire Pokemon game franchise, boasting a crisp overworld look as well as unique catching and battle mechanics. On top of that, it's really fun to shiny hunt in. You get really good odds, you get a overworld audio cue whenever a shiny pops up, as well as some stars going up so you can tell when you get shinies, as well as a really good chance of finding shiny Pokemon throughout it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Because Legends Arceus uses a method called the massive mass outbreaks to get a higher shiny chance, the amount of shiny Pokemon that we're going to be hunting this time is going to be much broader, as we'll be going to different areas to shiny hunt them. Some of these include the Obsidian Fieldlands for Wurmple, the Crimson Mirelands for Roselia and Spiritomb, the Cobalt Coastlands for Spheal, and the Albaster Icelands for Zorua, which we can evolve into Zoroark, and he's pretty purple, so. This only lists a few of them, and we might encounter a bunch of other shiny Pokemon that aren't purple because of how this game works. To quickly sum up how this method works, basically every time you head out on an expedition in Legends Arceus, one of the 5 areas, or multiple of the 5 areas, will have massive mass outbreaks in which a bunch of Pokemon are specifically at these points in the map that are, have their icon on them. And basically what I did is I chose to go and check all the areas with specifically the purple Pokemon in them, in order to see if there's shinies there, and I'll just pass through them. Sometimes I'll defeat them, because as you defeat the Pokemon or catch them, there's more. And as you can see here, literally on I think this is my 2nd or 3rd time going through an area, I was able to catch a shiny Roselia. This game allows you to save in order to keep the shiny, and so I could basically now guarantee have it. Even if it runs away from me, I can come back and get it. That's what's better about this game in particular, is even if I were to lose it here, as you see I'm getting attacked by everything else, if I were to lose it in this situation, I could easily come back and get it again. One of the ways that I also did this is I was very upfront and aggressive with the Pokemon. I just used, I think, the sticky bomb thing to stun them, and then threw Pokeballs at them in order to lessen their spawn rates. As you can see, this map I specifically had a Roselia and a Spiritomb massive mass outbreak in order to check, and so I went to both and checked them. And it just depends on how lucky you get here. Sometimes they're not going to spawn, and you just basically keep restarting your game, going and seeing if there is any more in the specific areas I want to go to find purple shinies. and continually do that over and over. Another upside to this method is that I can save before I go to the specific area, such as the Crimson Mirelims where I'm here at right now, and if none of them are shiny, I can go out of my game, close it, go back into it, and then check the other areas if there are other areas on the map, but I will know for certain that this Massive Mouse Outbreak doesn't have a shiny that I want, and so I can, start other expeditions to other locations in order to ensure that. I swear this game, I love it in terms of like shiny hunting, but I swear it also hates me. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try and go for some interesting ones, try and get a Spiritomb, try and get a Hisuian Zoroark, but no. Rumple. After going above and beyond and finding 3 targets on our list, being the Roselia, the Celio, and the Wurmple, we named all of our encounters. We named the Roselia Ivy, we renamed the Wurmple Rumple, which is my favorite nickname, and then we also named the Celio Sebastian. On top of this, we also got a Kricketot and a Togetic, which has a shiny that's pretty much exactly the same, as well as a Prinplup, which I failed to record, but it was right after the Celio, so that was pretty cool. Right after that, we went on over to Pokemon Home and dropped all of our encounters, and by all of our encounters, I mean all of our encounters. I guess how this is going to work is I can either, choose between them, or depending on the challenge, I might be able to bring multiple from Legends Arceus. They're basically just like bonus shinies that I got. However, all of the ones that aren't purple are just going to go to the side here. Legends honestly has some of the most fun mechanics to do shiny hunting in, and I'm sad to see it go, but we're going on to Paldea as we wrap up this challenge.
Ay, 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 ay.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet also makes use of the mass outbreaks. However, instead of having them reset each time you go on an expedition, instead they are reset every single day. So instead of waiting for the specific outbreak I wanted, I used a method where you eat a sandwich of a specific catching power of a type, so say water for example in this case, in order to make it so that the next day you get better odds, and I manually reset the time in order to quicken this process up a little bit, and got the raid we needed. After this, you actually have to further utilize the food method system in the game, and on top of having the raid as you would in Legends Arceus, you also make a sandwich. In this case, we have a beautiful cucumber and salt sandwich, as you see here, but it helps out a ton. As you'll see, it increases the shiny rate and encounter rate of the specific type of Pokemon you want. And all of these recipes can be found online. Simply look up the type and you should be able to find it pretty simply. There's usually 2 to each type that you can do. One of them's easier and requires different herb mystica, such and such. Absolutely delectable, this sandwich. Full of salt and watery cucumber crunch. As you can see, by eating the sandwich in the top right, we get all these powers for specifically water, which is what we're going to be hunting today. That's because among this horde of dolphin Pokemon is an amethyst gem. However, we kind of had to defeat a bunch of these dolphin Pokemon until we solved this message right here. This basically meant that no more of the dolphin Pokemon would spawn from the massive outbreak anymore. However, our shiny chances would be at the top. Therefore, I have to go in and out of a picnic, as you see here, in order to reset their spawns. And just as everything was going quite to plan, something unexpected happened.
Huh?
We got a shiny Magikarp out of nowhere. But it wasn't exactly the Pokemon I was, hoping for, as we wanted our shiny Palafin. But, it's still pretty cool. This also meant that it was a race against the clock, because if I didn't find the shiny Venison within 30 minutes the sandwich was active, I may have had to go back on my save, getting rid of the Magikarp in order to get a second try at this.
Hello there.
And with that, we had done it. The final shiny Pokemon needed for the Pokemon Master Shiny Hunt Challenge had been caught with this Venison, which we promptly named Blueberry. I mean, I know he's purple, but look at him. I'll just let this moment speak for itself. Your Blueberry.